Welcome to the Purpose Driven Mom Show, episode 476. And I'm going to talk to you about my new favorite tool that you probably been hearing me shout about from the rooftops, AI, and how, as a mom, I use it to save time, stress less, and get more done. We're also going to have a real and honest conversation about the downfalls of AI, the environmental impact, so you could be a cautious and conscious consumer of it. I do use AI more than I would like to based on what I know now, but I'm going to teach you how it really does save me time, money, effort, and helps me. I also have a great freebie. It's 40 AI prompts I made just for moms. Well, me and ChatGPT did it together. You can go to purposedrivenmom.com/AI prompts. It'll be linked up in the show notes. If after all of this, you're like, ooh, give me more, go check that out. Okay. Because if you've ever wished for an assistant who can help you with anything from meal planning to goal setting, this is how I use AI. It is my assistant, and today I'm going to show you how to do it too. I'm going to show you a couple mistakes I made. I literally made one yesterday, and when I was done, I was like, I probably shouldn't have put that on the internet, and we'll talk about that when we get to the downfall of it all. And I'm going to reassure you that you don't have to be techie. It is for anyone. ChatGPT is the tool I'm using. There are a ton. It's just the one that I like. You can use it for free or you can pay to upgrade to the 4.0, which is the most recent. Connected to the internet, you'll get the best results probably with it if you want to pay, but you can use it free on your desktop or on your telephone, okay? What I like about the phone options is that I can just speak to it. I can talk a situation out and it'll kind of figure it out for me. But I do find the desktop to be easier, like most things on the internet. I want to remind you though, whenever I talk about things on the podcast, Trello, Google Sheets, Drive, Dropbox, a notebook, a planner, ChatGPT, they are tools. They are not your be all end all. They are not going to solve every problem for you. They are tools. They are going to help you. So I don't want you to think this is a magic wand that will 100% fix everything for you, but it will help honestly release the mental load, the decision fatigue, and the invisible work. It allows me to offload some of the thinking, which again, there are studies coming out now. Obviously, the more you use something like this, the less critical thinking you're doing in your day to day can have long term impacts. So it's not my complete brain. It is an assistant. It helps me with the part that freezes, that I overthink, that I just need to get started. It is not about replacing my judgment, my intuition, but supporting it. Okay. When I save that mental space, it is the biggest return on investment, right? That ROI that we're looking for, because I can't always use my brain at 100% capacity with three kids running around, which by the time this episode airs, we'll only have two because one is in college, but AI has helped me. We actually had a good conversation with my oldest before he went to school. I mean, he was in high school, the past couple years, so they've had conversations about using technology wisely, but just about how you still need to use your brain and you still need to think. So we've talked about the AI and the Chat GPT with it. I think my littles even know about Chat GPT a little bit, right? I just want to remind you, this is something I say a lot. It's the start that stops us. ChatGPT, AI, all of these tools are here to just make it easy to get started because I don't know about you, between three kids, perimenopause, brain, the fog is real. And sometimes I just need a little help. Sometimes I just need to say, like, what am I doing next? What is my next step? Can you just get me started? I also find that I use ChatGPT a lot whenever I have a goal and I find myself saying, I don't know where to start. Now, I have a framework: dream, learn, plan, do. Whenever I have that question, I don't know where to start, I go to dream, learn, plan, do. But sometimes, even in the dream, learn, plan, do, I'm realizing ChatGPT can help me get started on those sections as well. If I'm planning out goals, let's start there first. I can ask ChatGPT to help me think. So if I'm moving into the dream framework, right? And I'm like, I know that I want to do this thing. Let's talk about my kids' room remodel because it's a goal I've been working on to this day of recording it. It's late July. I still haven't done it. Hopefully by the time this airs in September, I have done it, but I struggle. And I asked it, what are some things that I need to think about when it comes to this room remodel? And I gave it the context. It's important to give context to AI. Told it a little bit about where we were moving the rooms, the ages of my kids. I also was like, what are some questions, right? So what you do with ChatGPT is you put prompts in and it gives you information back. I love to use it as kind of help with journaling things out, like this. What are some things I could ask my kids to help get an idea of what they want their rooms to look like? Because I know I need to sit and talk to my kids about their room remodel, but I'm not always sure what to ask them. So I will go in and I will say, give me some questions to ask. Okay. I also will sometimes say, I'm struggling with this piece of my goal. I'm in this dream phase. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. What are some things I need to think about? And it'll come up with questions, and then that's enough for me. Then I take these questions and I go use my own brain, right? I take these questions and it helps me think. It's like a really great thought partner. If I'm moving into the learning phase, and this is one of the things I will say if you have ChatGPT 4.0, it has the more up to date stuff. I've done this before where I was like, I want to get an Etsy shop up. So hopefully, again, by the time this airs, my Etsy shop is up. We'll see. As of right now, it is not, but I would like to. I want to learn about getting an Etsy shop up. What are some YouTube accounts and podcasts that I could or I could listen to or watch to get more information? And sometimes this has been really helpful because I don't always know who I want to learn from. In my business too, I'm not always sure who I want to collaborate with. And so what I will actually maybe do is say, like, give me some people. And then I can take that list, I can go to their podcast, I can see if I want to learn from them. Moving on through my goals, I move to the plan phase. And this is where I find ChatGPT to be very helpful. Now, I teach a few very specific ways to plan in my program, the Purpose Driven Mom Club. So not all of these always kind of fit everything that I want to do, right? But what I will do is I will go through and I will say, okay, this is the goal. I want to remodel my kids' room. Here's all the information I've collected about what they want, what we want, our budget, etc. Can you help me make a plan? And then I ask them to customize it, right? With 15-minute tasks so that I'm only doing things over the weekend. I want to get this project done in 4 weeks, right? And it helps me plan the project out. Now, again, the plan I received back, it's not perfect. It doesn't fit my life. It doesn't know me, which is why you need something like the Purpose Driven Mom Club and what I teach, because I can help you customize things based on the framework, right? But it will give me an idea and I can take that and move it into the do phase. I can put it into a Trello board. I can get it nice and organized, okay? The other thing you can do if you need help with things like that's for goals, but what about just your general scheduling, your planning, your routines? You can ask it to give you some sample routines or time blocking based on your season. It's the fall. We're about to head into October. These are all the things I have going on. I have school drop off. I need a 3 hour work block at home. Can you help give me some sample routines? Again, it's not doing it for you. That is the thing I need everyone to remember. Like, people are like, AI is taking over, but no, you need to customize. You still need the tools to know what to do. It's not going to help you follow through, but it can help you planning back to school routines, your holiday schedule. Holidays are coming, right? So we could say things like, these are all the things I need to get done for the holidays. Can you please plan out for me what week to do them over a 12-week period? Okay. Or even a chore chart. These are the things where I'm struggling with my kids. I need to come up with a chore plan for them. Now, what's cool about ChatGPT is that you can also ask it to make you a chart, an Excel sheet. You can download, you can give me a Canva template. So now it's even more advanced where it can make those things for you. I often will also use it as a brainstorming buddy when I'm just stuck figuring out what's realistic. These are all the tasks on my to-do list, right? Copy my to-do list in, or I have whatever, 15 tasks. Give it whatever you want. I have 2 hours to get them done. Can you figure out a plan that either makes that happen or what I can take off my list? And it'll probably come up and be like, oh, wait, that's not realistic. You're not gonna be able to get that done. It's also very helpful when it comes to just planning out any project you have. I'm going on vacation. I'm planning this. I use it for planning out like projects such as a birthday party, my son's birthday party coming. When we planned up college moving, goodness gracious, ChatGPT was so helpful there because I've never moved a kid to college. I didn't know what I need to do. So I asked it, I guess, that this is the things we need to do. This is our schedule. Okay. And the other key here to remember is always say, this is how I close my prompts. I say, if there's any more information you need to give me the best answer, please ask me questions. And it will then ask you questions to be specific. Now, I will say on the free plan, you only have a certain amount of prompts. So just keep that in mind that you could hit a limit where it's like, you cannot access ChatGPT till tomorrow. So it's also an option. The thing that I've also been using that has been so great is my meal planning on ChatGPT. One of the things that you can do is you can say, hey, help me create a 5-day meal plan. Okay. Broad. You can say, can you help me make one for a picky eater? Here are my kids' 5 safe foods. Can you help me make a meal plan? Can you help me do one that has 15-minute prep, a crock pot meal plan, right? You can also get a grocery list from it. These are the meals I'm making this week. Can you please make me a grocery list? Can you give me ideas for lunches? This is a really great one. My kids are not picky, but picky-ish. So I'll say like, hey, these are the things I typically make my kids for lunch. I want to start trying some new things. Can you give me some lunchbox ideas? Another thing that's really helpful on your budget is saying, these are the things I have in my pantry, and you list what's in there. Please give me 2 to 3 meals I can make, or just a meal, simply a meal. And then that way, you can use what you have, expand your budget, and think outside the box. A lot of times, our brains get so overloaded, and this is why this is a great tool, right? Our brains are overloaded because we've already made 100 decisions. Instead of making any more decisions, what we can actually do is say, help me make the decision. And then you can go through and filter as you need. But if you've not used it for meal planning, highly recommend. I always say we are the CEOs of our home, right? So think about how you can use ChatGPT as an administrator of your home and your life, okay? Birthday parties with the holiday. I know it's September, but thinking about the holidays coming up, I am stumped sometimes for gifts for kids that aren't like around my kids' age. Like I don't know what kids these days like sometimes. So I'll be like, hey, can you give me 10 really great birthday gifts for a 7-year-old boy? And it'll come up with some stuff. Like my son, for example, he just turned 8. He's like, I don't know what I like. I'm like, you do know, but like, I don't know. He likes Legos, and like, that's as far as we got. So I was like, let's get some out of the box ideas. And we came up with a couple other things that I was like, he was like, oh, I do like that. Oh, I do like that, right? You can also say, like, packing. I'm going on a trip. Can you please make me a packing list? A chore system, like I mentioned. My kids are this age. Can you please give me a realistic chore chart for them, a realistic chore system, how we can make this work? You can ask it, hey, let me make a Sunday reset checklist. I want to make my week smooth. I'm struggling. And again, very broad. It's not going to give you the most perfect Sunday reset, but you could say, here's what my Sundays typically look like. Here's what I need to prepare for the week. Can you give me a checklist? And then again, ask me any questions, right? Things like that. You can go through and do all those things. The other thing that it has helped me with is planning with like my personal type of life things, Girl Scouts and cheer. While Girl Scouts gives me so many great resources, sometimes I just want something different. Sometimes I want something out of the box. Sometimes I just need a little bit of help. So I have used it all year in planning my lessons. For example, my girls are gonna be juniors, which is fourth grade. There's a detective badge. It looks super fun. As the girls get older, the badges are a little more complicated, intense, a little bit less innate for me to teach. Like I can pretty much teach anything for an hour to an elementary school student, but as they get older, I'm like, I don't know how to teach fingerprinting or Morse code, right? But I can learn, right? I can learn how to do it. I can get tools. So I can say, hey, this is the things I'm trying to teach. Can you give me some fun interactive things to do? Or maybe the Girl Scout plan says, you could do a would you rather activity with the girls about whatever the topic is, like stand on this side of the room or this side of the room. That might be as far as scouts goes, but I'm like, I don't know what I want to ask. ChatGPT, can you give me some things they might like? With cheer, I'm on our booster club, so we make like little cute activities, things for the girls at the competitions with cute little sayings like you're gonna, rock and give them pop rocks, like that kind of stuff. My brain does not always work like that, especially because I work on a lot of my cheer and Girl Scout stuff at night where my brain is like, we're not doing that. So I'll ask it to give me ideas. Hey, we're looking to raise this much money for this thing. If you're on the PTA, if you're in those type of groups, can you give me some ideas of things that I could do that would work? And it'll just start to jog your memory. I've also used ChatGPT for communication, if you will, and boundaries. So I've had to have a lot of difficult conversations this year, and I don't always have the words. So in particular, I get a lot of really fun people in my DMs, calling me really great names just based on, the fact that I'm a crazy, radical, liberal, feminist or something. I just think women should have rights. I don't know what's wrong with that. But they just come at me. People just be coming at me all the time. So sometimes I have to pause so that I don't say something mean and get a little help. And so you could even say, like, hey, can you help me politely answer this while having a firm boundary about this topic? Can you help me say no to another school volunteer request politely? If you are struggling with, like, what do I say? I'm upset about this thing at school. I was talking to a parent and she was struggling because her kid's IEP wasn't being followed at school and she didn't know what to say. Because, and again, we know what to say with the passion, but we don't always know what to say with the communication. So we were able to go through and be like, hey, like, how can I have this conversation? Right? Say you get a little social anxiety. I'm trying to make some friends. I'm not sure how to coordinate like a play date or a carpool. Can you help me out? Again, it's not taking the humanness out of it. It's just giving you that boost. Now, I mentioned how I use it with goal setting, but I also have used this with journaling and personal goals. So I was working on a business journal that I do when I sit down to work, right? I have a prayer that I say. I always say when I start my day, like, Lord, please bring me the women that you want me to impact today and help me become the business owner that you are calling me to be, right? And so I say that every day, but then I also have some prompts because I've been working on some different things. And I wasn't sure what to journal through, so I just asked it, hey, this is what I'm struggling with. Can you give me some journal prompts that would help me? 20 journal prompts. There it is, right? It helps break a goal down. I have these things to do. Can you break it into 15-minute tasks for me? Right? You can also help it with your mindset. Sometimes my brain is really mean, like to me. And so I need a little help reframing things. So I might say, like, can you help me rewrite this story that I'm telling myself when I'm feeling shame about? And then you fill it in. This is one of those pro tip that I like to go to the phone for because I like to talk it out on the chat, and then that way I can be like, this is what I'm struggling with, can you help me with some positive statements? And I have found ChatGPT be very empathetic. The one time it was like, I just want you to know that I think you're doing the best, but if you would like to work on this, and I was like, thank you, ChatGPT, like, you're so kind to me, right? And we always are kind to the robots, please and thank you. I also will sometimes use it with my kids. So if you saw an episode I did last month on summer on vision board setting for the fall, we had a list of prompts you can do to create vision boards with your kids. It helped me there. Again, I talked about routines and checklists. Also, if you want to use the Chat GPT, I don't use it too much for coloring, but we did do for Father's Day. We were able to upload a photo and it made a coloring sheet. You can upload any photo and you just have to ask it, please make this a black and white coloring sheet, right, with bold outline. That way, that's the prompt you want to use. It takes a little bit, but it'll come up with a coloring sheet. So we got a picture of the family. My kids colored it in. We wrote Happy Father's Day on it. Okay. So that was helpful. And then this one, I don't even want to own it, but sometimes like my kids' homework is hard. And I say this with the whole shaking my fist, get off my lawn. I don't understand this new math type of a way, right? Um, my daughter's going into fourth grade. She's in some gifted classes. I don't always remember everything. So I could get some homework help. I could be like, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? And again, it's the start that stops us. So sometimes we just need a little bit of push to get going. Before I send you off to go to either check out AI prompts, what is it? A purposedrivenmom.com/AI prompts. You can get those 40 prompts to get you started. It'll be linked in the show notes. I just want to encourage you that there's a learning curve with everything, right? So you might be thinking, like, I don't have time to learn something new, right? You already Google. I use ChatGPT sometimes more than Google. I do. All right. It's like smarter, more intuitive Googling. People thinking like it's gonna replace me. It's not unless you let it, right? But you are a smart person who could use an assistant, right? It's not your boss. It is an assistant. And then just thinking like maybe you're not techy enough for it. You don't have to be. Literally, you just need a question, a little bit of curiosity. You can download the ChatGPT app or go to the website. But I'd be remiss to end this episode without talking about responsibility and the downsides and what you should know and things that I am still working on getting better at because I've learned more about the downsides of it. And I think knowing those allows me to use it less. Like I've been using it less than I used to be using it all day long. I do probably use it once a day, but I don't use it as many times for as many things now that I know what I know. So, you know, don't take all the answers at face value, right? Review things, personalize them. Um, Fact check. Please fact check. I actually, maybe I'll say this because I talked to someone and we were talking about something, it was political, and they were like, is this even true? And I was like, I don't know, let me fact check it. And she was like, how do you do that? And I was like, what? So I just want to say that you should always be fact checking. Fact check everything I'm saying, right? You could always go to another internet site, multiple if you want. It depends on what you're fact checking, right? Like there are certain sites that like if you're looking at something political, you want to make sure you're fact checking against like the actual like US government website and not just like a news channel or something, right? But I always Google, I double check things. Is this actually correct? So use your common sense there. Lead with your own values, not what it tells you. Just because ChatGPT tells me that my kids age appropriately should be mowing the lawn, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to make my kids mow the lawn, right? And just remember that like it is supporting, not replacing my own brain. But I do want to talk about the fact that like it's the internet. There are privacy concerns. So anything that you type can be used to train other models, right? So don't enter sensitive data. There is an article that I haven't fact checked going around that I just saw this morning that apparently anything you say on ChatGPT can be used in the court of law. I don't know if that's true. Again, I have to fact check it. But just know that. And I will tell you, I very much did a boo boo yesterday because I was got my physical and I went and I got blood work done. And they sent me the LabCorp slip. And so I got to look at it. My appointment's not till next week. And I was, of course, going down the Google rabbit hole, which I would have done anyway. And I thought, wait, what does this mean? So I went to ChatGPT and I said, can you help me analyze results of my blood work before I go to the doctor so that I can make it like have an informed conversation? Because a lot of times when they catch you off guard, I'm like, oh, I don't know. So some of my cholesterol numbers were high. And I was like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? I didn't know what some of these things were. There was some other thing in there that I didn't know what it meant. So I put my information in ChatGPT. It summarized it in layman's terms for me. It talked about it. It's in, do you want me to make you a plan to help with these numbers? And I said, no, but can you give me some guided questions I might want to ask my doctor? I got the questions. I'm going to take them to my doctor. In hindsight, I don't know if I wish I had done that because I just put all of my information out there like that, right? It did really help me though. I actually understand my own results and I feel very informed for like the first time ever. I always feel really dumb going to the doctor. So, like I feel good about that. But I did just put all that on the internet, right? And I'm having a little bit of ChatGPT remorse and I can't take it back. So just know that that's real, right? And also just the data. It's not always clear where ChatGPT pulls stuff from. It's not sorting live sources. It's not a human researcher. So it could be giving you false information. You have to be aware of that. There's also a bias with ChatGPT. It is only as good as the data it's trained on, which reflects social and cultural bias. So if you're speaking to it as an American versus if you're speaking to it as an Australian or insert your country, you might be getting different responses based on the cultural bias and social bias of where you're at. So know that if there are people in a certain demographic who don't use ChatGPT, it will not have as much information about that demographic and the information might not be as accurate. And then the two big ones that obviously have, not obviously, but have been most top of mind for me lately is over reliance. There is a temptation to default to AI instead of your brain, instead of struggling through something important. Yes, I like to use it to help relieve some of the mental stress, but I still need to struggle through that. I still need to use my brain. I still need critical thinking skills. And this is the issue we're seeing now with younger kids whose brains are not fully developed using it, right? Or prefrontal cortex does not develop until young adulthood, I think like 25 for males, right? Like until that happens, it's impacting their critical thinking. And I'm 41, so my prefrontal cortex is developed, but the reliance on it will start to diminish my own skills and my own thinking. And so I try to make sure I'm using it less because I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, well, I don't know, what does ChatGPT say? But I'm out of ChatGPT prompts for the day, so I don't know what to do, right? Like that, I'm not trying to become a robot. And I think unfortunately big businesses like that's what they want, right? Like what is the saying, like billionaires and the government and all that, like they prey on us being stupid, right? They want uneducated people because we're easier to manipulate. Let's be real, like that's how it is. So you want to still use your brain. So if you notice like I did that you're using it too much, and you can determine what too much is, but I there were some things I was using it for and I was like, Cara, right? Like use your own thoughts on this. Catch yourself. And then one of the ones that's top of mind for me right now, there is an environmental impact of using ChatGPT. Okay. ChatGPT is made on huge servers, and every single time a prompt is written, a large amount of water is used and electricity to not only start it up, but cool it down. This is not a zero impact tool. Okay. And there are people in the areas where these big servers are that are being impacted because their water is being used to cool ChatGPT down. So that is the one thing, the biggest for me right now that has stopped me from using it as much is because I just think about like the environmental impact, and that's something that's very important to me. May not be to you, but and I don't say that snarkily. I am a little more, I am very, I've always been very like Captain Planet environmentally conscious, even since I was like in middle school and high school. I was in the environmental club, like collecting the recycling, like I forget about it sometimes. I'm gonna be real, and I'm just like, it is what it is. But a lot of times I'm like, oh, the environment, like it's dying because the world is dying. Friends, I can't even stress about that. Oh my God, it's gonna stress me out. But the world is dying, and we're the ones killing it, right? So I also have been limiting it because of that. And again, it would be irresponsible of me not to tell you about this great tool, but also be honest and real about the downsides. I hope you choose to use it responsibly. If you go to a purposedrivenmom.com/podcast 476, we'll link up to the AI prompts that you can use that I've created for you to test out. Give it a try and know that it's an incredible tool. Use it for good and have a great day.